College of Charleston come back to the Southern Conference? Should the Southern Conference take them back in? Gene Sapikoff, a sports writer for the Charleston Post and Courier, would like C of C to come back to the SoCon. I'm going to tell you why that's a bad idea. Hi, everybody. I'm Marky Billson, and I just wanted to say Sapikoff has written in a story earlier in the month. It's got a lot of people buzzing about, certainly on the social media, dealing with Southern Conference schools as well as College of Charleston. And it has his idea that C of C should return to the SoCon after about a 7-year hiatus. They've been in the CAA, which at the time looked to be a better basketball conference than the Southern Conference, but the last 2 years the NET ratings have had the Southern Conference ahead of the CAA, and so with less travel, Sapikoff says, in the Southern Conference, maybe C of C should swallow their pride and the Cougars should return to the Southern Conference. Well, there's some problems there, and I'm going to tell you what they are, and primarily it's the TV markets. Now, the one thing that the CAA, the College Athletic Association, provides is some big markets, not necessarily Harrisonburg, Virginia, which I believe is ranked number 173 the last time I saw it, somewhere around there out of 210, but I'm talking about Hofstra in the number 1 market in the country, New York City. I'm talking about Northeastern near Boston. I'm talking about Drexel in Philly, which is a top 10 market. I'm talking about Townsend near Baltimore, Maryland, a top 25 market. And that means something when the TV cable networks and such come a-calling. Case in point, as it stands right now, the CAA has a better TV deal and is making more revenue than the Southern Conference is off of their broadcast network. Basically, right now, the Southern Conference, their games might be shown on Nexstar, which is kind of a regional network of local affiliates, but there are a lot of problems with it. Take, for instance, the conflicts on Nexstar affiliate WJHL in Johnson City. When there have been Southern Conference games, they haven't been able to show them because of their commitments to the SEC on CBS. So the game doesn't get shown unless it has ETSU on, and then it gets shown on tape delay. This obviously is not ideal. And while the Nexstar contract has worked a little bit better for basketball, it's still on some local channels, not necessarily a national network, like the CBS Sports Network, which is where you'll find a limited amount of CAA games throughout the year, say, about 11 or so. And that means something. Now, why is the Southern Conference less desirable than the CAA to a cable sports network? It's the markets. It's just that simple. Hey, why else does the Big Ten want Rutgers? It's the markets. Hey, number 1 market. Bring them in. Why do they want Maryland? Well, they're near Washington, D.C. Bring them in. Top 10 market. Yeah, that looks pretty good and enhances the Lincoln, Nebraskas and the Des Moines of the Big Ten. So, as we look at this, this is the main problem with the Southern Conference. Their largest market is Asheville, Greenville, Spartanburg, which is the 38th largest TV market in the country. Unfortunately for the SoCon, it's split among 3 schools: Wofford, Furman, and Western Carolina. So it doesn't universally have the number 38 market. It sort of is, chopped up 3 ways. If the SoCon was to bring back C of C, you know what? They'd only be chopping up the number 91 market. And that's Charleston, which already is represented in the Southern Conference with the Citadel. So you're not going to be able to use C of C, no matter how good they are in the hardwood, and they were only 17 and 14 last year, to get more TV money, more exposure, and grow. Yes, I think that the Cougars are a very respectable program. I think they're a very good program. But let's also face facts. They've only made the NCAA tournament once in this century. Or one more time than, let's say, Army, who have never made the NCAA tournament, but they are in the top market in the country, New York City. Or, for that matter, let's think of Navy. Yeah, they're arch rival. They're in Annapolis, but that's in the Baltimore TV market. Top 25. Now, when I think about should the Southern Conference expand, what I would suggest is that they look at Army and Navy. They're not going to drop down to the FCS level in football, I don't think. But what they might do is consider, Patriot League for our other sports. Yeah, that's never going to be as good as the SoCon. The other attraction of the Southern Conference for the military schools, the Citadel and VMI. Suddenly, just like the Big East, what's that made up of? Primarily Northeastern Catholic institutions. What's the A-10 made up of? Okay, Davidson is an exception, but primarily Northeastern Catholic institutions. How does St. Louis get in? Well, they're not Northeastern, but they're a Catholic institution in a reasonably large market. So that's the way these things work. It's not dividing market number 91 for a 17 and 14 team. It is, however, bringing in the largest markets possible. Now, I say all of this because if the Southern Conference was looking to expand, yeah, like I said, College of Charleston, nice program, but it doesn't give you any better TV deal. And right now, in addition to what I told you about the cable deal, the CAA gets $1 million more from putting their games online with flowsports.com than they do getting them on, let's say, ESPN, which is where the Southern Conference is, but so many of their games are on ESPN+. I do admit, and the Southern Conference officials have told me, we're in a Hulu and YouTube world. It's going to be a situation where, yeah, the future sports contracts, they're going to be online, and we're okay with that. But you want as many free online broadcasts as you can get. Flow Sports, well, they do charge about $13 a month. Meanwhile, ESPN Plus only charges about $5. But the situation is Flow Sports gives them $1 million more. The other thing is that it don't lock them up into a long-term deal. It's just year by year. So that's another advantage for C of C to be in the CAA. Are you with me with all these C's? As a result, I don't think that the Southern Conference should try to go after College of Charleston, nor do I think the College of Charleston should try to leave to go back to the SoCon. Look, just 2 years ago, 2018, the CAA did have a better NET ranking than the Southern Conference. Things like this tend to be cyclical. How would either the CAA or the Southern Conference grow as a conference? Easy. By going to the big markets. It's what the Big Ten was trying to do, wasn't it? It's what, for that matter, the ACC was trying to do. Boston College isn't anywhere near, say, Georgia Tech, but Boston to Atlanta isn't a bad plane trip, and frankly, you're talking about a number 6 market. That's why Pitt gets in, and not West Virginia. That's why, Miami gets in. And to a certain extent, even though they're in Tallahassee, I guess maybe Florida State 30 years ago. Of course, it wasn't quite as important back in those days as it is now, the TV market size. But that's how you grow, folks. It's the market size, stupid. So Southern Conference, no matter what Gene Sapikoff writes, and he makes some good arguments, no, that's not the future, College of Charleston. Bigger markets are. And I do recommend, yes, looking at an Army and Navy, trying to lure them from the Patriot League. It's not difficult to get to Baltimore. It's not difficult to get to New York City, no matter where you are. Those are larger markets. You're going to get better broadcast deals that way. That's how you grow, not by taking in a good basketball program, but one that's not in a very good market for the Southern Conference. Sorry, Cougars. I'm Marky Billson. Now, if you like the videos here, this is what I'm going to recommend you do. you've got the Southern Conference playlist on my YouTube channel. So I'd like you to go to my YouTube channel, Marky Billson, just right there, and subscribe. Hit the button. I've got podcasts just about every day. I've got more than 1,000 videos of my archived sports talk show from last year and beyond. I've got some great interviews on there. I've got playlists not only with the Southern Conference, but with SoCon John Hooper and our weekly interviews from there, as well as my more modern situations. What do I think about the Appalachian League's potential demise? Got a recent podcast on that, as well as the situation. Let's just say I've got a Southern Conference page. I've got a SoCon John Hooper page. I've got an ETSU page for the Tri-Cities fans, as well as a Tri-Cities playlist on my YouTube channel. So check it out, hit subscribe, hit the button, and I'll see you next time.